Maria here. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to talk about the brand Floral Street. Now this is a relatively new fragrance house. I think it came out in about 2017 and I thought I would share with you what I think of them, which are hits, which are misses, which are full bottle worthy, and all that good stuff. But before I start, if you haven't subscribed, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button, become part of the Weird and Wonderful family. And if you are already part of the Weird and Wonderful family, thank you so much. And yeah, let's get into this. So the reason why I decided to buy the Discovery Kit is when the Sephora sale was on, I was going to buy Wonderland Peony because I had smelt quite a few of the Floral Street perfumes in Sephora back in 2019, and Wonderland Peony was one of my favorites. Like, I just really enjoyed that one, and I still had a sample that I was kind of using here and there, and yeah, I recommended it in the spring. I just think it's a very pretty fragrance. However, Karina Waldron, on one of her videos, she started talking about Black Lotus, and so I kind of had felt that my tastes have evolved a bit, and so I wanted to smell Black Lotus before I went ahead and bought Wonderland Peony. Just the way she described it, she's so great at describing perfume. So I go in. They don't have it. So I thought, well, before I go ahead and buy Wonderland Peony, I would try, I would try this little jumpy Floral Street kit. And this was $25 Canadian, which to me was reasonable. And you get, let's see, 3, 6, 8 perfumes in here to sample. And they're just like the tiny typical samples, but I thought I'd give it a go and then I would know for sure which one to buy. Now, as it turns out, there were quite a few in here that I really enjoyed, so I thought I'd go ahead and share with you my findings. Now, the one thing that I thought was really cool about this kit is you can spray it on one of these little spray things, and then you can tuck all your little ones into these little spots here, and it's lined up then, so you know which scent is which. So I thought that was neat. If you've got scent strips and you want to spray it on them, they're just like little envelopes that fit into it. So that was number one. I just think that the packaging is really pretty. Now, this is a relatively new perfume house. I believe it started in 2017. I believe that they're clean fragrances, or that's the idea. They're considered like a modern perfumery. They're vegan. Let's see, vegan, I think they're cruelty-free. Does it have any of that on here? It doesn't show any of that, but I'm pretty sure that they're vegan. I think they're vegan and cruelty-free. They're really big on vegan leather anyway. So regardless, I think they're based in London, and yeah, let's just talk about the fragrances. So I'm just going to start right over here in number one and then move our way down. So the first fragrance is London Poppy. Now, London Poppy is considered a fresh citrus floral, and I would have to agree with that. I'm going to give you some of the notes. Neroli Orange Blossom, Florida Orange, Sicilian Lemon, Apricot Blossom, Jasmine Sambac, Sunflower, Marine Accord, Cedarwood, Hiroki Woods, Black Amber. So a lot of notes, and I found that with all of these perfumes, they're kind of loaded with notes. Now this one, first of all, the longevity is poor on it. I get about 3 hours and then it just becomes a skin scent. I put it on here. Yeah, it's completely gone. So usually a perfume is going to sit on the skin. You're going to be able to smell it in the air for, let's say, 4 to 5 hours is kind of an average. And then it's going to be a skin scent. And so if you smell, you're going to still smell it. Now, I can smell it, but so faintly that I would have to respray after about 4 hours. So this one is a pass for me. The scent is like, it's citrusy, it's fresh, it's slightly soapy. I think that's the biggest thing with this one, is I get quite a lot of soap in it, and I'm not a huge fan of soapy fresh. So this one's a pass for me. Now the next one is Wonderland Peony. Now this is by far one of my favorites. That said, it's a lot more girly. I would consider it a girly, flirty scent. This one is considered a light fruity floral, and that makes sense to me. I'm going to read some of the notes. Lemon, pink berries, pink guava, violet, peony accord, raspberry flower, vanilla bean, candy floss cedar, and vetiver. So what I get out of this one is just kind of a bright, fruity floral. I definitely notice that cotton candy, so this is probably, well, it's definitely the sweetest out of the whole entire line. It's super girly, super feminine, super cheery. It makes me think of spring. It smells pink. So I just really love this one. Now, even though this one is like kind of a pink, girly, feminine, fruity, sweet scent, because of that vetiver and the cedar, it kind of grounds it and gives it a bit of depth. So I really enjoy this one, and this is one that I think I'll definitely want to get. Now it's still floral, but with the cotton candy, the kind of raspberry-esque nature of it, with the pink guava and the pink berries, it's definitely more fruity than floral. So this one I found lasted about 4 hours and then became a skin scent. It definitely had better longevity than the London Poppy, but this one I wouldn't say is a heavy hitter by any means, and by about 4 hours you're going to want to respray. But that said, you get this really beautiful scent bubble while you're wearing it. Even though this one doesn't last majorly long, it's definitely worth having in your collection. I just think it's really pretty. If you get a chance to sniff this one, definitely do. So the next one that I want to talk about is Neon Rose. Now Neon Rose, I'm going to read the notes for it. It has pear, galbanum, bergamot, cassis, kyr, apple blossom, Szechuan pepper, cyclamen, juniper berry, jasmine Egypt, angelica, white cedarwood, peach nectar, and crisp amber. Off the bat, I can smell that juniper berry. I can smell like that angelica, like there's just a real green note to it, but as it dries down, you get that nice rose. Smells like a fresh rose, more of a pink rose, I would say, than a red rose. So this one, you know how Flora Botanica by Balenciaga, it has that green opening and then it dries down to kind of a dewy rose? This has a green opening that's a little bit more forest as opposed to walking in a greenhouse. This one is more foresty, I would say. And then as it dries down, you get that rose again, but like I said, it's more of a pink rose than a red dewy rose. So hope that makes sense. I really like this one. I think it's really pretty. However, the longevity is no good as well. So it's gonna last 3 to 4 hours max, go to a skin scent that you'll barely be able to, you'll barely be able to smell it on yourself. Like I have it on me, I can barely smell it. I also am not a fan of the dry down in this one. So the opening is kind of neat with that green, kind of a little bit crisp citrus, with that greenness, evergreeny kind of scent. Going into the rose, really nice, but the dry down, like down into the base notes, it just goes off on me. So I am not a fan of this one. Other than I like that opening in the mid, but the dry down just, it turns me off. So that one's a no for me. So the next one is Wild Orchid Vanilla. Now this one is really interesting as well because it's also green. Now I find that actually quite a few of these, at least the ones I've talked about so far, minus the Peony Wonderland, all of them have kind of, so London Poppy, Neon Rose, Wild Vanilla Orchid all have a bit of a greenness to them, and this one's no exception. So Wild Vanilla Orchid has vanilla bean, cashmeran, ambroxan, cassis, lemon, vanilla, blossom, bamboo, and jasmine, sandalwood, patchouli fraction, and red orchid. Now this one is definitely longer lasting. Do you guys like when I read the notes? Like if you would prefer, I won't read the notes and I'll just talk about how the perfume makes me feel. If you guys would prefer that. If you like knowing the notes too, I definitely want to give them to you. But if you're not a real fan of them, let me know and I can stop doing it. But anyway, so the Vanilla Orchid, this is interesting. Now, when I think about Lalic's Le Parfum, that one turned me off. The bay leaf, somehow it was green, but somehow it made me feel sick. This one doesn't make me feel sick at all. So I've got the dry down going on my arm. It's definitely got that greenness to it in the opening, but then you dry down to kind of a woody vanilla, but not as woody as something like Un Bois Vanille by Serge Lutens, or even the Seven Virtues. Not as woody as that. But this is kind of a more complex vanilla, but the vanilla definitely is the star of the show in this one. So yeah, I think this one is interesting. It doesn't make me feel sick, but I wouldn't purchase it, that said. So this one's interesting, but it's not wowing me to the point of getting it. But this one, what I like about it is the longevity is there. So I sprayed this one like 5 hours ago and I can still smell it. And it's pretty strong. So this one's definitely longer lasting than all the ones that I've talked about so far. Now the next one is called Iris Goddess. And this one, I love the opening. The Iris Goddess is considered a soft, powdery Chypre. It has peach, lemon zest, chili pepper, midnight violet, suede accord, Tuscan orris, carrot seed, patchouli, fraction, black vanilla, and liquid vegan something. Okay, so this one I really love the way it smells when you first open it. It's quite sexy. It's got a little bit of not a tartness, there's a sharpness to it, and I really, really enjoy that opening, but I don't like where it goes. So for me, this one I sprayed it once on myself and I didn't want to spray it again. I'm just not a fan of that much powder. So if you are a fan of a powdery scent, but you like kind of more of a unisex powdery scent, like this one I think definitely a guy could wear. I've heard lots of people really like this one. I'm not a fan of it. I really like the opening. I like it smells a little bit unisex to begin with, but I just don't like where it goes on me. It doesn't work for me. It's too powdery. It just doesn't sit well on my skin. So this one's a no for me, but if you are a fan of kind of the more powdery scents and you want something that's a little bit more, I think, kind of sexy, so this is like powdery but a little bit edgy, like a powdery black leather jacket, then go with this one. Give it a try anyway. This one's worth a sniff because I can see a lot of people really liking this one, but I'm not a fan. Next one is called Chypre Sublime. This one's quite nice. So this is considered a glamorous woody Chypre. It has incense, pink peppered, wild geranium, damask rose, midnight violets, patchouli, labdanum, benzoin, and albanum. Yeah, you can smell that kind of stuff in here. You can smell the bit of the rose. You can smell the incense, you can smell that geranium, like kind of geranium rose kind of goes together a lot. So this one's really pretty. It's a little bit powdery. There's a bit of spice to it. It doesn't really wow me. So it's not bad, but it certainly wouldn't be high on the list. The next two scents that I have for you are two of my favorite. They smell similar to me, but I like them both, so I've got to share them with you, and they both kind of transport me. So I've got Black Lotus on my card right now. Now this scent is the one that Karina Waldron talked about that made me want to go smell it, and they didn't have it in store, and so I purchased the kit. This one has a whole vibe to it. It totally transports me into a story. So for me, this perfume smells like kind of the 1930s, 1940s. Just imagine like Casablanca or some sort of scene like that, where the women are wearing beautiful long satin gowns. They're all glamored up. They've got satin or silk gloves on. They're smoking their cigarettes, you know, those weird cigarette holders. So there's really cool jazz trio music going on, trumpet heavy jazz music going on in the background. People are dancing, but mainly people are just talking, visiting, whatever. Now you've got the smell of cigarettes hanging in the air. I definitely get that in this one. You have a little bit of a stronger, sexy perfume on your woman. Now, basically in my head, like the scene that I had was she's in a relationship with this guy. Now this guy, he beats to his own drum, and he's a little bit like he's tough, like he's a tough dude. And they'd had some sort of fight, so she had gone to the jazz club by herself. And so he's like all stewing and upset, but he's so in love with her. And this guy is passionate, man. Like, he is passionate. She's a little aloof. She needs to loosen up a bit, but she's a bit aloof. So anyway, so he's in the vehicle. He's like smoking on a cigarette. He's really upset. He gets to the place, he throws a cigarette down, he stomps it out, and he's not wearing a tuxedo. He's wearing a long leather trench coat. He's dressed kind of to the nines, but he's got a long leather trench coat instead of like a tuxedo. He's not got a tie on. You know, he's got his like a linen shirt on. He looks good, but he's not like tuxedo boy. He's got like I don't know, some sort of fedora or something on. Anyway, but the trench coat goes down almost to the floor, and his boots, they're rough, they're worn, they're good, strong leather boots. This man's a traveler, man. Kind of like a Raiders of the Lost Ark kind of dude. So anyway, he's super passionate, and he's upset, but he loves this woman, and so he's gonna go get her. He's gonna reclaim her. So he walks in, he sees her, their eyes lock. He walks over to her, like he just ignores everybody that says hello to him. Walks over to her, grabs her, and just kisses her big time. And the mix of the ash from the cigarette and the leather and her perfume, that's what this smells like to me. So it smells super ashy, like almost like stale cigarettes, but I just love it. It's so sexy somehow. So this one, it has jasmine, saffron, papyrus, black cherry, red peppercorn, saffron, centifolia rose, black violet accord, narcotic musk flower, patchouli fraction, labdanum, and black vegan leather. This guy's not wearing vegan leather. He's wearing a cow. He killed himself. Anyway, it's sexy. It's totally unisex. A guy could wear this. It leans masculine in my opinion, although I would wear this. This puts me in a whole vibe, man. I love it. It's very different. And I kind of have a feeling that most people would smell this and think it stinks. Longevity, again, isn't amazing. You're going to get 5 to 6 hours, which is definitely better than the other ones. But yeah, like it's got that ash to it, which is so weird, but I just love it. So that one puts me in a whole vibe. And then Ylang Espresso, that's our last one. And it's kind of similar. It's like you definitely smell the coffee. This one has coffee. I'll just read the notes. I've read the notes on all the other ones, so I'll read the notes for this one. It has tangerine, Szechuan pepper, fresh rose, jasmine, tiramisu accord, patchouli, ylang, espresso beans, cacao beans, and gaiac wood. So I think it's the gaiac wood in this one that smells a little bit ashy, but definitely get the espresso. But it smells almost like a burnt espresso. So it doesn't smell like coffee. It smells like a burnt espresso bean. Then you get a little tiny bit of that cacao. This one smells definitely It's a little bit lighter than the Black Lotus, but it's in that same genre. So it's definitely darker, definitely unisex. I get a little bit of that Ylang, and it says tiramisu. I can smell a little bit of a creaminess to it. But it's a little bit overpowered by that espresso bean smell. So this one, they call it a creamy gourmand. I wouldn't consider this a creamy gourmand, although I do smell all the cream and all of that in it. This one is really neat too. Like, it doesn't smell like a coffee shop to me. But it smells kind of like that whole scene I just told you about, if it was happening in a coffee shop. So it kind of has the same vibe. It's dark, it's a little bit leathery. The espresso and the leather go really well together. The Ylang works with it. It's dark. I don't think that this is very gourmand. I think the majority of people that smelt this would be very disappointed if they thought they were getting like a coffee tiramisu scent. I get where they're going with that, but I think it smells very bitter coffee heavy, if that makes sense. So this one, I still really, really like it. In fact, I'm not sure which one I like better, Black Lotus or Ylang Espresso. I think I like Black Lotus first, and then Ylang. They're both similar enough that I don't know if you'd want both of them in your arsenal, because they are kind of similar somehow. So I would maybe pick one or the other. I'm not sure if I could choose between the two. So that's it for my little whatevers. I hope that was helpful. Definitely, if I were to recommend to you some scents, if you like kind of dark, deep, unisex scents, definitely head towards the Ylang Espresso or the Black Lotus. Those would work well on a man as well, which I think is super cool. The Black Lotus, the ashy cigarette kind of vibe might turn people off. I happen to find it like kind of the opposite of being turned off. Oh, I need to calm down. If you like vanilla, give the wild vanilla orchid a try, especially if you like green vanillas. It's quite a neat one. I can see a lot of people liking Iris Goddess, especially if you want to try a unisex powdery scent. That one might be really cool for you. If you just want a girly, fruity perfume, definitely head towards Wonderland Peony. I think that would make a great gift for most women. I think most women would enjoy that scent. I know I sure do, but it definitely evokes that feminine, flirty, girly side of fragrance. So that's it. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Have you tried any of these perfumes? If you have, what do you think of them? I would love to know. Yeah, I can see some people just thinking that Black Lotus just stinks. I don't know, like, do you think it stinks? If you smelt it and you think it stinks, you tell me. Like, leave it in the comments so other people get opinions. I would say those would be the least favorite of most people. They're definitely my favorite. I don't know if it's because they smell, I don't know what it is about them, but they just do it for me. So I love them. Like, they just put me in a total, like, I can totally see the scenes in my head playing out. And for me, with perfumes, like, and that's the thing, Wonderland Peony and Black Lotus in particular evoked an image in my mind. So Wonderland Peony, it's like candy floss and flowers all over the place, and, you know, it's Christmas in Wonderland, like, you know, that kind of like just girly, flirty, fantasy world. Kind of like, what's her name? Oh, she's so weird. Oh, kind of like Katy Perry type videos, or even, what's her name? Taylor Swift, like floral, pretty color. That's what I get from Wonderland Peony. Black Lotus, I get sexy, sultry, smoky. Yeah. So, that's it for today. Hope that you enjoyed. Hope that you have an amazing week, and we'll talk to you soon.